Does anyone bend string like David Gilmour? Comfortably Numb, the second solo, is in my personal top 3 guitar solos of all time, but I have never heard the Pulse live version. Hey, it's Owen here. Today I am finally listening to the 1994 Pulse performance of Comfortably Numb. Does it hold up against the original, or does it bring something completely different to the table? I'm going to let this run without any pausing so we get the real vibe of the performance. I'll let you know my thoughts at the end. Let's get into it.
I can't hear what you're saying. When I was a child, I had a fever. My hands felt just like 2 balloons. Now I've got that feeling once again. I can't explain, you will not understand. This is not how I am. I have become comfortably numb. I turned to look, but it was gone. I cannot put my finger on it now. The child is grown.
was incredible. Like I said, I love the original, but that might be better. What a performance, what a stage show. Imagine being there. Imagine seeing that light show, that sound. It would have been an incredible sound. And of course the band, absolutely top of their game. Everyone in there just going above and beyond. And of course, David Gilmour's guitar playing. Does anyone bend a string like David Gilmour? That first solo, he played pretty close to the original. There was just maybe one extra note and a couple of little whammy bar scoops in there. Not quite that extreme, but picked up a couple of them in there. Pretty true to the original. With the more minor part, sort of darker part of the song, there's some really interesting vocal harmonies going on which were different from the original version, and they just really work. They were great. And then when it goes into the more major, and David Gilmour singing, incredible. Just the contrast between the two vocal styles and those parts really make the song. I even spied a young Guy Pratt there on the bass. Looked like must be a 5-string bass, definitely a headless bass. Of course, Guy Pratt has played with some of the biggest names ever. Madonna, Gary Moore, Icehouse, Roxy Music, and so many others. David Bowie even. Imagine having to take Roger Waters' place in front of a Pink Floyd crowd. He's definitely done a great job. We've got to talk about that second solo. As I said, one of my favourite solos of all time on the original record. This is as good, possibly better. It was darker. It had a more rough sort of quality about it. There was some great licks in there that I've never heard before. The start of the solo started off very similar to the original. A lot of the same licks in there, but he definitely went off with some great improvisation. And I think that live version of that second solo was a bit longer than the one on the record, which I am definitely not complaining about. So much going on in that solo, and quite a lot of the whammy bar work was very nice. One thing I immediately noticed was that David Gilmour was not playing the black Strat, which everyone knows. He was playing a red Strat, which was a 1983 Fender 57 reissue Stratocaster. Now, David Gilmour, breaking all the boundaries there, was using EMG pickups. EMG SA pickups with an EXG expander and SPC mid-range control. EMG's not really known for their clean tone, but it makes sense because it will give you a really, really solid, clean platform where you could let the pedals do all the work. Speaking of pedals, David Gilmour used quite a lot of them on this setup. For this song, he was running a Boss CS2 compressor, a Sovtek Big Muff, a Chandler Tube Driver, and a TC2290 delay with a bit of chorus. And I believe he was running the Chandler Tube Driver after the Big Muff to take off some of that harshness that you can get with a fuzz pedal. He's just getting so much sustain without it sounding too overdriven or too gainy. It's really quite an amazing tone from the setup that he's running. And we can't forget those incredible Hiwatt amps that David Gilmour runs, the DR103s, which are 100-watt British heads, loud as you could possibly imagine and clean as a whistle, perfect for taking pedals. So the live pulse version of Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd, with of course the master David Gilmour on guitar. What did I think? I think I need to watch the whole concert. That was absolutely amazing. So much to listen to and learn from. Of course, David Gilmour's guitar playing is all about the perfect note choice at the perfect moment. Nothing too over the top and nothing that doesn't need to be there. Let me know in the comments any suggestions you might have for an upcoming reaction video. I've already got quite the list going from the comments on the last couple of videos, which I really appreciate. Do keep those coming. If you enjoyed this, please do all the usual things, like and subscribe, tell a friend, and check out this playlist for some solos that rule. See you in the next one.